Hi guys, welcome to Food Vendor Reality. My name is Bill, and today I've got Food Vendor's Top 10 Frequently Asked Questions. Question number 1, how do I go about getting a vending license? This particular question, I'm going to assume the person is meaning, how do I go about getting the health department approvals and license? Start at your city, county, and then work your way up to the state level to make sure you understand all the rules and regulations regarding vending and getting a health department license. The license may not come from the health department specifically. Each state has their own nomenclature for what they call the group that is over restaurants, but you want to start with being a mobile food establishment, and then how do I get licensed for being a mobile or food vending license. Now, the next part of this question could be referring to vending license as in a peddler's license or a transient merchant permit. Those types of permits are offered at the city or county level. There's a few states that offer some type of a vending license that covers the state wide. And again, you want to go do your research, start at the city, move to the county, move up to the state to see about a peddler's or a transient merchant license. Those types of licenses are designed to limit the number of people that are offering services at the street level. Some cities, for instance, only offer, say, 20 permits a year for food vendors. And so you want to make sure that you understand that there's a limitation within the city that you're going to work in, and there may be a waiting list. There's no point in buying a cart and then come to find out that you can't vend in the city you were hoping to vend in. So do your research. Go online, put in your state, and then put in the question of how to start a hot dog cart or a food cart business in Florida or Ohio or Wyoming, wherever you're at. And then just work your way down to the county and city level, or start the city and county levels and work your way up either direction. But you want to make sure you're covering all three: city, county, and state. Do I need an LLC? The short answer is no, you don't need an LLC. You can be a sole proprietor and do just fine with your business. An LLC offers protection against your personal assets if your business folds and you owe money to creditors. My advice to every newbie that starts is don't buy on credit. Absolutely don't extend yourself, because your business is weather bound. So if you have a particularly wet summer, you're not going to make a whole lot of sales. And if you started out by buying $1,000 or $2,000 worth of supplies, you're going to be panicked trying to pay those bills back if you don't have any kind of sales for the month because of the weather. If you go and look on Facebook groups and you ask if you need an LLC, about 80% of the people will say, yes, you do. And then they'll offer you either no reason or they'll offer you wrong reason. One of the most recent posts that I saw said an LLC for 2018 gets a 20% tax deduction, blah, blah, blah. No, you don't. An LLC, if you go to the IRS and look up tax benefits to having an LLC, you will find exactly none, because the IRS doesn't recognize an LLC as a tax entity. They tax sole proprietors because that's a pass-through entity that allows the income to go to an individual. They tax partnerships because, again, pass-through entity that allows the income of the business to be split between the partners and then their tax. An LLC has the option of being taxed either on the corporate side, where it's taxed twice on the corporate income and then the individual's income is taxed, or it can be as a pass-through entity and taxed like a sole proprietorship. So an LLC only thing it does is offer you protection. It does not offer you any kind of tax benefit at all that you cannot get someplace else. So if you're worried about an LLC and you're not sure that you're going to be able to be a successful business person, by all means, get you an LLC so you don't have to worry about your house or car being repossessed. How do taxes work? Real simple. You got to pay them. You're going to have at least two kinds of taxes. You're going to have a sales tax that you collect every single day that you're in business and operation. And you're going to have income tax based on how your business does profitability wise at the end of the year. Income taxes are paid quarterly. They can be paid annually if it's a low amount. Sales taxes can be paid monthly, quarterly, annually. It depends on what your state requires. So starting with sales tax, you want to look up city, then state, and then county level taxes as well. Make sure that you have the proper permits for each one of those to collect them. And then make sure you send out what they expect you to be paying monthly, quarterly, whatever their requirements are. State revenue agencies are notorious for chasing people down to get their sales tax. As far as income taxes, just go ahead and pay them. If you're not sure, find yourself a tax consultant. Taxes are relatively easy compared to some of the other things you're going to do, but they got to be done. Do not ignore them. What is the best all beef hot dog to vend? And basically what you want to know is what is the most popular one in your area. Any of those brands that you see on the screen you can buy nationwide, but they're not necessarily the most popular one for your neighborhood. If you live in Chicago, people expect Vienna. If you live up north in the northeast, Nathan's or Sabrett's. Snapdog's an up-and-coming one in New York, and they've got vendors all across the country now, or starting to get vendors all across the country. Hebrew National has its own following. Oscar Mayer is a recognized brand. Members Mark is a generic brand that Sam's Club does. What you want to think about is, how does a hot dog taste with the toppings I'm going to be using? And then what do people in my area expect? Go to a local grocery store, not a chain grocery store or Walmart. Go to a local grocery store and see what brands they are selling and how much shelf space they're allotting for each brand. If you go to a big chain like Walmart or Winn-Dixie or Publix, a lot of times their shelf space is contractually obligated to a specific brand. Doesn't mean it's the most popular brand or what people actually want in that area. It's what the national chain has said, we're going to give so many square inches or cubic inches of space to this particular brand, and then they do it. So it may have the most shelf space allotted, but it may not be the brand that turns over the quick. And that's what you want. Which brand does the grocery store sell the most? Talk to the manager. They'll tell you right away which one he orders the most of. And a good manager will know that off the top of their head. They'll say, yep, I always run out of Nathan's and I have to order them all the time. That tells you that there's a number of people in that neighborhood that like Nathan's and run them out of their product. I need help with menu price and portion sizes. All right, so you got two different questions there. Menu price just comes down to what is the recipe that you have for every product, what is the cost, your cost from your suppliers for every single product, and then what's the recipe for every single product. Once you've got the recipe set up, as far as I know how to make my mashed potatoes, I know how to make my coleslaw, and I know how much a batch costs me $10 to make a batch of coleslaw. Now you got to determine the portion size. Once you got the portion size determined, then you can go back and figure out what to price it for on your menu. Portion sizes are already determined. If you go out and look at your competitors, your fast food competitors and your street vending competitors, what portion sizes are they using? Just go order a cup of coleslaw, a cup of mashed potatoes. Like for instance, at KFC, mashed potatoes are done with a disher that produces a 5-ounce portion. They're put into a 6-ounce bowl with a lid on it. So now you know what size mashed potatoes they are, you know how much it costs, and you know that your competitors are selling a comparably portion size of mashed potatoes. So now looking at your cost for a batch, how much does it cost to get you that 5-ounce portion? And then once you know that, then you can say, okay, I need to sell this for $2.19 to make money. And if you look at the prices around your area, is $2.19 a good price or a bad price? Is it too cheap? Is it too high? Because I can guarantee you that when you go to KFC or Burger King or McDonald's or any other place, even though the prices may appear to be very similar, they are regionally dictated. Don't be afraid to price higher than your competitors, and your direct competitors being other people that vend. Don't be afraid to make your portions bigger than somebody else's, but absolutely don't depend upon your own opinion for portion size or price. I personally am a cheapskate. My wife will tell you I don't spend money on anything. So I never ever look at my portions and say this is too big or too little, or this is too much. I'd never pay for that because I'm not a good judge of that. But what I do look at is my portion comparable to somebody else's, and can I get this price out of this portion? And if my food is superior, then I will price it in a superior price. I can always bring the price down. It's a lot harder to raise prices than it is to bring prices down. And believe me, I've been through a ton of price increases over the 40-some years I've been doing this. Customers notice. Who should I use for insurance? You can go online. There's a company called Flip, which is Food Liability Insurance Program. It's a good company. You can go to a place called Insure My Food, another pretty good company. Can use your own insurance as far as Geico or Progressive or Allstate or State Farm, Nationwide. Anybody that offers insurance probably is going to have a program to help cover you. What you're looking for is the most amount of insurance for the least amount of premium, and that is going to vary based on what you need and what you're going to sell and how much your sales volume is, friends. So the questions you want to ask when you're looking to find an insurance company: if I were to have a total loss of my cart or trailer, how is the replacement value determined? If you bought a $12,000 piece of equipment, your cart, it's your entire business, and you're in a wreck that totals that cart, how is the replacement value determined? Because I can guarantee you may have spent $12,000 on it, but you're not getting $12,000. How is the replacement value determined? How do I get myself whole again. That's what insurance is supposed to do, is make you whole. But remember, insurance companies, as much as they want to talk about they're there for you, they're not. They're there for their shareholder, the people that have invested money in the insurance company and expect to get a return on their investment. And that is not you as a customer of the insurance company. You are their source of revenue. So if you think about it, you offer insurance to every customer that you have that comes up to you and orders a hot dog or a hamburger. When the customer comes back and says, I don't like this hamburger, they've wrecked their cart basically. I don't like this hamburger, I want a refund. You give them a refund. You've made them whole again, and they can go somewhere else and spend the refund. Insurance companies typically don't make you whole. If you've ever bought a car, brand new car, driven off the lot and been involved in a wreck in the first month, you know what I'm talking about. That's why some insurance companies advertise how they'll give you the full cost of your car. You want to understand, what is the replacement value? How is it determined? How easy is it to add an additional insured? When you go to events, they're going to want to be listed on your liability insurance. Property owners maybe want to list it on your insurance. Your commissary maybe want to be listed on your insurance. So you're going to make sure it's easy to add somebody. And also, likewise, easy to drop them off. How much is a trailer endorsement and what does it cover? A trailer endorsement is when your trailer is not connected to your vehicle and people are walking around and they trip and they fall and they hurt themselves. You want to make sure that you know how much that endorsement is, because it is an additional cost. And then what does it cover? What is the impact of my annual sales on the premium? Amazingly enough, the more you sell, the more exposure the insurance company has to somebody filing a claim, so they want to get more of a premium out of it. Didn't know that. When you go on Facebook and you say, what's the best insurance program out there, you will see Flip answered probably, I'd say 70% of the time. And most of those people saying they pay $2.99. And I can tell you right now, what they've done is they've gone in and they've got the least amount of insurance, which is $2.99, and they don't have the kind of coverage that they need because they don't have a trailer endorsement for $2.99. They're saying their annual sales is less than $50,000 gross, and realistically, if your annual sales are less than $50,000 gross, just go work at McDonald's. It's a lot less stress. You're still serving food, and guess what? Your annual income probably will be more. And why do I say that? $50,000 if you do normal, and I do mean very normal sales and have normal profitability, you're probably going to get roughly 40% in profit. And what is 40% of 50,000? 20 grand. And if you divide that out, that's roughly what you make, making about $10 an hour. If I'm involved in a foodborne illness case, what are the limitations of the coverage? Very important question. You'll have a lot more trip and falls than you will foodborne illness, but you may have one. You want to know, what are the limitations? Because if you, for some reason, make 15 people sick, your insurance coverage is going to be eaten up very quickly. You want to understand what the coverages are. What is the best point of sale? And point of sale can really refer to the cash register and also can refer to advertising around the area where people step up to place an order. But most people generically just mean, what's the best cash register system to account for what I sell and then to tell me how much it costs total. Questions you want to ask when you go look at different points of sale registers are inventory management, and how detailed is the inventory management, timekeeping and payroll. Does it only keep track of people punching in and out, or will it also help me to issue checks? Is there a guest loyalty program? How much does it cost to process credit cards? Does it even process credit cards? All of those questions are important depending upon what your needs are. Most cash register systems nowadays either partner with or have integrated into them credit card process. So you want to make sure you're getting the best deal as far as the processing itself goes. Guest loyalties can be add-ons, or it can be a simple tracking system. And then, of course, timekeeping and payroll depends on what your needs are. If you're the only person working, clearly you don't need it. All right, inventory management is the sticking point that I have with a lot of the POS systems out there. They're not detailed enough. The reason being, the bigger and broader your menu is, the more items that you have and the more ingredients that you have that go into your recipes, the more detailed of a system that you need to be able to track all that stuff. Otherwise, you're doing it on spreadsheets and going to multiple places for information. There are POS systems out there that will track your inventory, that will allow you to input when you get purchases from your suppliers. It will allow you to adjust the cost for a pound of hamburger or a package of hot dog. It will also total up the recipes for, what it takes to go on to a hamburger to sell it. Mayonnaise, ketchup, lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, onion, mustard. It does all those things for you. Or it can be real simple. It just tells you sold 87 hot dogs and you have no clue what went on. Having worked in both restaurants and selling food on the street, I can tell you the more details you have about your inventory, the better off you're going to be. The more money you can make in the same amount of time. And that's all that we really want to do, is make the most amount of money in the least amount of time. Now, having said all that, Square is the best processor. It gives you very basic functionality on all of those things. It gets the money into your account in 1 to 2 days. It has one of the least expensive processing fees per transaction, and it doesn't charge you more for American Express than it does for MasterCard and Visa, and you get the money, like I said, fairly quick. It does offer guest loyalty. You can get fancy add-ons that cost you more per month to get really detailed guest loyalty. It also does the same with timekeeping and payroll. It has very basic functionality on timekeeping, and you can get add-ons that again have monthly fees to get a real detailed payroll system that will help you write your checks and send out the W-2s and that type into the year. So again, it can scale up to what you need. Inventory management, very basic, but it also has the ability to scale up and get you the details. You can add on Vend, for instance, there, and Vend will charge you a monthly fee but give you incredibly detailed information about your inventory. So it just depends. If you want to scale up, Square's the way to go. If you want to start already scaled, then either just go straight into Vend or ShopKeep, either one. And again, those have monthly fees, are a little bit more expensive, and then they have the ability to add and process credit cards. So those are the ones you want to check out. Depends on what you need. If you're starting out new and slow, go to Square. If you've got some experience, want more details, go to ShopKeep or Vend. They're significantly better system than just the basic that PayPal or Square or Intuit. What percentage of sales should I expect from credit cards? Credit cards have been growing in use, and credit cards is an umbrella for also debit cards. So a card payment system has been growing in use about 5% each year since 2013. About 82% of all American businesses offer direct deposit, meaning that the employees now have a debit card to make all their purchases with, and they don't have to go to a bank. And if you don't offer a credit card, you're missing out. Now, the specific question there is what percentage? You can expect it in a mobile environment to be as high as 50%. And I expect that number to go higher each year. When I first started taking credit cards, I got $14, $15 a day out of $300 or $400 in sales. Now I'm getting well over $100, $150 for the same $300 or $400 in sales. Depends on your area, depends on what your demographic is. Younger folks tend to use debit cards, and older folks tend to use debit cards. Folks that are set up on direct deposits tend to use debit cards. And like I said, 82% of businesses offer direct deposits. So you're going to find more and more people use debit and or credit. So get into it and then price your menu around knowing that you're going to have a percentage be paid out to process credit. And realistically, credit cards are significantly faster to process than the cash transaction. How do other vendors sell chili when the code says, no, you can't sell chili? I get this one a lot, especially in Florida, because Florida has two different types of vendors that can go out on the street. One is a hot dog vendor, which can only sell hot dogs, and they're the ones that cannot sell chili. And then the other license you can get is a mobile food dispensing vehicle, and that one can sell chili because of its license allows. If you look at their carts, especially a few years ago, you could not tell the difference unless you actually looked at the license that was supposed to be displayed on the license number that's supposed to be displayed on the cart. And then you could tell, because a hot dog license starts H or HD now, and the other ones don't. So if you are a hot dog vendor with a hot dog license and not selling chili, and walk down the street and see a hot dog vendor that you know has a hot dog license and they are selling chili, there's only two possibilities. One, they're doing it illegally, or two, they've gotten a variance or approval from their health department. And you can get that. Some cases super easy to get, some cases a variance is not easy to get. So what you want to do is, when you have a vendor, a competitor that is selling something you think they should not be selling on their license, first thing you want to do is look for evidence that they advertise it that way. Go to their Facebook page, their website, and see if they have photographs of their menu that show the product you think they shouldn't be selling. If they do, just run you off a copy. Then go to your state health department or whatever department inspects your food establishments and see if they have a way for you to access health department inspection. Look at the inspection and see if it notes the violation of the code with that particular product. If it does not, print that off, or in either case, print it off, and then make an appointment to see your health inspector. And the question is going to be real simple. You're not trying to turn somebody in for doing something wrong. You're asking the health inspector, how can I be like this person who is selling this? You show them the menu that they have on their website or Facebook that shows them selling that product that you believe is prohibited. Then show them the inspection where they passed an inspection and did not get dinged for the product, or they were dinged for selling the product, and then point out that they are continuing to sell it as evidenced by the website and Facebook. Then leave it up to the health inspector to do whatever they need to do. Your question is, how can I be like this person? And the health inspector will tell you, well, here's how this company did it, and here's the steps you need to go through. Or they're going to say they shouldn't be doing it, you can't do it, and then they'll take care of the person who is selling something illegally. Doesn't make you a tattletale, doesn't make you a rat, doesn't make you a narc, doesn't make you a bad person, because you need to look at the scope of, if they're doing one thing that's illegal, they're probably doing other things that they shouldn't be doing. Like, are they holding the food correctly? Are they washing their hands? Are they doing the other things to make their food safe and sanitary? And if they're not, you're protecting the public in general. And the public in general is your clientele. You're protecting your clientele by getting somebody that's doing something illegal off the street. And that's how you want to look at it. You're not trying to prevent somebody from making a living. You're trying to protect the people that are coming there innocently to buy something that perhaps isn't safe. Number 10, how do I market my trailer or car? As you can see, there's a number of different logos there: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the internet, doing video, all different kind of things you can do. But you got to understand how marketing works. You got to have good graphics and then good signs around your cart, and also good visual graphics when you're posting on the different social media sites. So the graphics around your cart and trailer is your first invitation to get people that have no idea that you're there. They just walk by and see you and say, oh, I like that picture, so I'm going to see the food. Looks as good as the pictures. You got to have frequent social media posts, and what that you initialize. You're the initial poster. You're the one that sets up the pictures. You're the one that says, hey, I'm at 5th and Main. On Twitter, you want to put pictures on Instagram. You want to show pictures of your food, show pictures of your menu. You want to post that stuff, and it needs to be frequent based on what people expect out of that particular social media. Facebook, 1 post a day, maybe 2. Twitter, you can do several posts a day. Instagram, 1 or 2 posts a day. Snapchat, you can do a little bit more frequent posts, but again, it's got to be posts that people want to see and they don't feel like spam. And then you also want to market to your demographic. Younger folks, especially ones that are 24 and under, tend to go with Instagram and to go with Snapchat, whereas older folks tend to go with Facebook. Twitter seems to be more of a businessy, political kind of platform. So it's a good place for you to put where your location is. And you can tweet out, hey, we're not busy right now, come down and see us, that kind of thing. Because it gets more of a immediate response. But you always want to make sure you're planting seeds with your posts. Let people know where you're going to be in advance, and also what your specials are going to be or what you're going to be featuring. And then you got to understand the influencers from within the social media. And what that means is an influencer is somebody that has a lot of followers, also posts frequently in a particular area. For instance, on Instagram, you can look up your city and it will tell you who the top posters are, as well as the most recent posts. And then those are the folks that you want to directly contact. Comment on something that they posted just to get them to like your comments, which means they're following it. And then also you want to take the opportunity to invite them down via direct message. Say, hey, thanks for that like on that comment I made on your post on that picture. I thought it was awesome. Why don't you come down and have a hamburger on me, a hot dog on me? And then when they come down, they're probably going to take a picture. They're probably going to talk about how nice you were to invite them down. You're going to get some basically free advertising sent out to all of their followers, and you're going to get some people from that. And you do that consistently, day after day after day. You can't just do it once and then cross your fingers and hope. What you're looking for is to get different influencers down there, and you're looking for that one influencer who has a contact that's going to get you into the next big event, or a contact that's going to need a huge event catered. That's what you're looking. Then don't forget traditional marketing like radio or print. I've gotten a number of radio ads for free just by offering food, and then helping the radio station when they had local live events where they go to a car dealership and the car dealership is wanting to give away food, and then they'll recommend my restaurants or my trailers or my carts because we've already got a working relationship. And you can do it for really no money. The radio station is a local radio station, local DJs that you can go into their office and feed, that you can offer your food as prize packages for whatever games they're running that particular month or quarter. And then you get a lot of radio mention without a lot of expenditure on your part other than the food that you give away whenever the contest is over. And then you've established a working relationship, and they'll remember you. And I've gotten a ton of basically free mentions on the radio that translate into new customers, because they'll hear on the radio and then they'll come in and they'll say, I didn't even know you were here. And then I ask them, well, how did you find me? And they say, well, I heard the DJ mention. So it works. You just got to get out and market. And just don't forget to do traditional ad well. So the last thing I want to say about marketing is it's a full-time job, especially when you first start. It may be more time spent marketing than actually selling food. And then eventually it'll get down to where it's about an equal amount. You got to market as much as you sell. If you're not, then you're giving away sales to a competitor. If you're open 3 hours a day, you should be marketing in some way, shape, or form 3 hours a day. And that would mean posting new posts, commenting to every post that mentions you, and then contacting people to invite them to your business. Those are the ways that you market. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you got any questions, leave them down below. And I will see you guys in the next video.